There's a phrase Christians use that sounds holy, but sometimes it quietly kills our faith. If God wants, and depending on the heart behind it, that one small sentence can either honor God or stop you from stepping into what God has already promised. Let's be honest, we've all said it. And sometimes we mean it with deep reverence. God, your will above mine. That is beautiful. We say, if God wants, your will matters more than mine. That is holy, that is obedience, that is surrender. But other times, we say, if God wants, because we're tired, scared, or don't want to be disappointed again. And in those moments, that gentle phrase becomes a soft excuse, a spiritual-sounding way of saying, I don't want to try, I don't want to believe, I don't want to hope. There's a difference between reverence and retreat. There's a difference between surrendering to God and surrendering to fear. You see, if God wants is powerful when it comes from respect. When we're saying, God, your will is higher than mine, when we're acknowledging his sovereignty, when we're humbling our plans under his authority, that is beautiful, that is biblical, that is worship. But if God wants becomes harmful when it becomes a cover for laziness, a disguise for doubt, and a way to avoid responsibility, a soft excuse for not taking steps of faith, and a shield to protect us from disappointment. A spiritual mask to hide fear. Sometimes we say, if God wants, he'll open the door, when God is saying, I already opened it, why aren't you walking through? Sometimes we say, if God wants, he'll heal me, when God is whispering, then why did you stop praying with expectation? Sometimes we say, if God wants, it'll happen, when heaven is saying, it would have happened if you believed. There's a holy, if God wants, and there's a fearful, if God wants. Only one of them honors him, and without realizing it, that faith-sounding sentence becomes a quiet door we close on ourselves. Science actually teaches us something important here. Your subconscious mind, the part of you that shapes your decisions, confidence, and expectations, doesn't interpret tone or intention. It interprets patterns. It believes whatever you repeat. So when you regularly say, if God wants, but you say it from doubt, your subconscious doesn't hear surrender. It hears uncertainty. It hears hesitation. It hears, don't expect too much. Don't get your hopes up. Don't believe boldly. And here's the deep part. Your subconscious adjusts your behavior to match that belief without you ever noticing. Meaning, you pray smaller. You take fewer steps. And you anticipate less. You become passive instead of expectant. Not because you don't love God, but because your subconscious has been trained to avoid disappointment, even in spiritual things. So that one phrase, if God wants, spoken repeatedly in the wrong spirit, slowly conditions your inner world to stop reaching, stop asking, stop expecting, stop believing. You think you're being humble, but your mind is quietly learning to retreat instead of rise. But here's the good news. Your subconscious responds just as strongly to faith-filled repetition. When you begin to say with conviction, God is faithful, God is able, God keeps his promises, God hasn't forgotten me, your subconscious begins to align with boldness. Your prayer life expands, your confidence increases, your hope wakes up again. This is why Proverbs says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he, because your inner world shapes your outer walk. This is why you must guard the way you use if God wants. Use it with reverence, not resignation. Use it with humility, not hesitation. Use it with submission, not passivity. Respect God's authority, but don't let that respect turn into retreat. Remember, surrender is laying down control, not laying down faith. So today, reshape your language. Transform your inner patterns. Teach your subconscious to believe again. Use if God wants only the way Jesus used it, from a place of trust, not fear. Jesus never healed someone and said, if my Father wants, maybe it'll work. No, he said, your faith has made you whole. Your faith, your belief, your boldness. He never used if God wants as an escape from action, only as surrender to his Father's ultimate plan. So let me ask you, where have you been using if God wants as reverence? And where have you been using it as retreat? So today declare boldly, my mind believes, my heart expects, my faith rises. God is willing, God is able, and I am stepping forward. Say it with me. My faith is alive and God is moving. And watch what he does next. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share for more spiritual growth.